Good morning, welcome to Twist Grip Tales here on a beautiful autumn, sunny, sunshine morning at Peter Stevens Ringwood. Let me tell you a tale about my first electric bike ride with Tom
Reynolds from Zero. Pleasure, Bruce. Good to meet you.
Great to meet you. Welcome to Twist Grip Tales, Tom, and you are Mr. Zero.
Well, I wouldn't get carried away about being Mr. Zero. I'm the marketing manager here at Zero Motorcycles Australia, and I've been on board since late last year, and the bikes have been brought into Australia by the Peter Stevens Group, and that's the group we work for, and we're here at Peter Stevens, as you noted.
So Zero
Yeah.
is something. It's not zero.
Well, I mean, you know, the idea being zero emissions, but certainly the Zero brand is entirely 100% electric bikes, and that's what we're happily bringing people today. It's, you know, one of the cornerstones of our marketing campaign as the marketing manager is to get people out on demo bikes because, and you're going to find this out, Bruce, it's experience like no other, the opportunity to ride a bike that makes an interesting sound. It's not no sound, everyone thinks there's no sound at all, but you know, the torque curve, the power and the nature of the way these bikes ride is very different, and it provides an experience like no other.
All right, now I am a professional electric vehicle driver.
You've noted, yes.
Electric stretch limos, 700 kilowatts, 600, 700 kilowatts or more.
What's the torque number though? That's the number that matters.
About 2,000 newton meters of torque. We accelerate from naught to whatever in very little time, keeping everyone standing, seated, pressed back, like taking off on a jumbo aircraft and travelling very safely. But with 28 tonnes to move, it's a lot of fun.
Well, it's not quite the same story, but again, the torque is the big story of the Zeros. So this, the DSRX, which is our premium level dual sport, 229 newton meters. I might add.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's a big number, isn't it?
Kilowatts?
About 80.
So that's around about, rule of thumb, we're talking about 120 horsepower?
Yeah, a little less, but in the end, we don't even talk about that number anymore when you've got a torque number.
Because horsepower is what sells bikes, but torque is what wins races.
Yeah.
And it's the seat of the pants feel.
Yeah.
So my Ford is 6-cylinder, 4-litre, and that's running around about 150 newton meters of torque. Turbocharged cars, V8s are running a bit over 200, maybe 250.
Oh, some are higher again. So
yeah, it depends what. So this is running what, around about
so the number
80 newton meters of torque?
Well, 229.
What? No.
Which, you know, we put it in context. The next closest to this is the Triumph Rocket 3, which is a 2.3 litre 3-cylinder. And beyond that, you go back to bikes like Ducati V4R, probably the premium superbike, is 100 only, inverted commas, 110 newton meters. The thing here is there's so much torque, you won't get that off the bottom. People love to say electric, the torque's there at the bottom. We actually have to take a little bit out of it because it's too much. It's literally too much. But it does mean, Bruce, at any stage you want more torque, you can have it. And that's the really important thing to note, that when you're in a situation where you want to get away from it, you don't have to bang down a gear or wait for it to come on power, just twist the throttle and away you go.
All right, so we're talking about tyre shredding torque. Now, this is the ignition key.
Yep.
All right, so this is a key like any other motorcycle. We can put this on, we turn this on. Here we go. Now, importantly, let's talk about exhaust notes.
Well, as I said, it's not a silent bike. You can actually hear, it's not unlike a sort of a turbine sound, the electric, and under load you can also hear the amps going into it, that sort of low buzz you get. Well, I'm not going to let you arm it while we're standing here, Bruce.
No,
He's also got the stand down. It's probably the loudest thing on it.
Okay, so that's the noise it makes.
Yeah, so there is a sound, and you're going to get to ride it shortly and you'll be able to experience that. So by and large it is quiet, it is indeed quiet, but there's also a profound moment where you realise the lack of vibration from the petrol motor actually gives you greater feel of the road under the bike. And I want you to think about that while you're riding. Changes in surface, grip, even the texture of the road changes. You will notice that more profoundly on an electric bike than you normally do. But again, not silent, there's still plenty of noise. And you know, the number one thing I notice, I need a quieter helmet, because the bike's doing the hard yards and I can still hear the roaring. So it's not completely silent, but there's things you'll gain through the electric experience that'll make whether or not it makes enough noise irrelevant.
Now, technically, that's awesome. But as far as noise goes, we have, of course, got great technology available to us from my schoolboy days. If you want to get if you want to go from Moto Zero to Moto Hero, a peg and a piece of cardboard is going to get you everything you need. You know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, a footy card is the other option. Now, so the DSRX, this is a 23 model. The 24 comes with a spoked wheel, so we'll make sure the spoked wheels are making the noise that you
Two
need.
thumbs up for spoke wheels.
Well, certainly in a dual sport, it makes a big difference. So, you know, there's a lot of work's gone into Zeros. These aren't first gen. It's the first time they've been launched at the level we're launching them here in Australia. But the bikes themselves are multiple generations old. So there's a lot more refinement from the ability to change the screen height to the electronics, the fact that it's all app-based.
And that's not electronic. This is manual.
No, there's nothing wrong with manual things. You're reinventing things that were already working pretty well. But things like the app for the Zero is next level. The ability to create your own ride modes, even log your rides, forward the logs from the bike to tell us for when it's service time, even changing the setup for the dash, what you want to see and when, the colours, everything. Right, then the important stuff such as charge time, the charge state you want it to get to. I have mine set to 85%. I get it to charge for me off peak if I'm at home.
Yep.
But any time when I'm at work because of the solar we have at work. So the ability to customise it to the way you want it is absolutely there.
So we've got a speedo in the dash, electronic dash, and we've got a tacho.
Yes, you can turn it on and off. You can have the day temperature, the bike temperature, the RPM, the state of charge, kilometres remaining. And the kilometres remaining is based on the way you ride. It's not just a arbitrary number. So if you ride around with low regen and lots of acceleration, the amount of distance left will reduce. Whereas if you ride in eco mode and you're riding gentler, you'll find the numbers go up by themselves.
Okay, now, Tom, let's briefly talk about the spec. So we've got alloy wheels.
Yep.
We've got twin radial Brembo under contract, made in Spain.
The ones,
Front brakes, nice front brakes. We've got, so the motor is centrally located with a tooth belt drive.
Correct.
To the rear wheel.
Yep.
And so we've got hydraulic brakes, electronically managed ABS.
Yep. That's all Bosch based.
All right, yep.
Traction control and ABS are Bosch based.
Spark plugs?
We've reduced the number of spark plugs down to a very handy number.
That's good.
And, but other things for the electric side of things. So the motor in this is Zero's highest torque number. So as I said, it was the 229, the 17.3 kilowatt hour battery, which is again the biggest battery they offer. But as you noted, the weight, they're the heaviest item, the battery and the motor. Both of them are below knee height when you're riding, which makes a really
central mass,
and really centralised. So even though the weight is around or a little more than petrol equivalent, you won't notice it. You won't notice it. Yeah, Bruce. The only thing I'm mindful of.
Okay. Time.
Let's talk more torque.
So fluids. We got no radiator.
No fluids. No oil.
Time to get ready for a test ride. So there'll be more questions afterwards. So let's get back to Tom later. Thank you very much, Tom.
All the best. Enjoy.
Let's do this on a beautiful summer's sunny day here at Peter Stevens Ringwood.
Thank you. Welcome to the Zero Demo Day. Thank you very much for coming along and experiencing our beautiful bikes. My name's Campbell. That's what the back of my helmet looks like. So I'm the lead rider. Lee will be the tail gunner today. We only have three basic rules. We keep it nice and simple. If you could stay behind me at all times, unless it jeopardises your safety, then look after yourself. Where you fall in the group as we ride, that depends on you. Just be mindful of other people and be respectful of when you're passing them. We don't overtake in single lane roads, so the slow traffic is what we put up with. When we're in multiple lane roads, just follow me. We'll just cruise on through safely at an appropriate speed. We don't lane filter or lane split, except the last 2 kilometres up Maroondah Highway. Is everyone okay with lane splitting? No problems? All right? Okay, it'll be at appropriate speeds and against the parked cars and the slow moving cars. Okay? As I say, just enjoy. That's what you're here for. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Campbell.
Let me tell you a tale about my first electric bike ride. This Zero is, well, I rode it in two modes. Eco mode and then sport mode. And eco mode, I would say, is equivalent to a SV650 Suzuki or a Ducati 750, something like that. Sports mode, well, that gives you the sort of thrust that you get from a hyper sport, a very sporty Vincent, a racing Ducati. I don't think I took it to full throttle. It's very fruity. Impressions, you got no gear shift, you've got a rear brake, you've got a very sensitive throttle, no clutch. So you don't want to have any hiccups with your right hand when you're at traffic lights, because any small input to the throttle, you don't rev the engine at the lights, no. You're going to go catapulting forward at great speed if you accidentally hit that throttle while you're at the lights, and it takes off. There's no cam, so you just get instant response from the throttle. Very nice. Eco mode, you get a nice deceleration from the regen function that's in there. Not so much on the sports mode. It's you get a lot of feedback from the road and the suspension, as Tom was saying. And it's a very easy bike to ride. It's a set up and beg, sort of like a, got good fairing, good wind protection. It's very sporty, very easy, very cruisy, and a comfortable riding position. Brakes work well. ABS, tested them. Yeah, they crank in nicely. No hint of rear tyre letting go. I wasn't trying to push it, but very fruity performance, especially in sports mode. So, 2 thumbs up. No exhaust note. Ah, well. Well, that was a great ride on the DSR-X Zero. Great fun. Now we're going to go and have a look at the dash and look at all the features that are programmed into it and that the rider can program in too. Let's go. Now, Tom, the Zero dashes are common.
Yeah, so all the Zero dashes are electronic only. They're all screen based. What's different though is our ability to change the appearance of it. So at the moment we've got the range and the state of charge, and I can swap that straight away. You can watch this in real time to the motor temperature, or I can change it to a trip meter, or again I can change it back to estimated range. So
now what sort of interface, what sort of phone is this that talks to the dash?
Like most modern devices, it works on the iOS, which is the Apple system, and on Android. So all the common systems are really easy to use.
Apple and Android.
Correct.
So we don't have to buy a Zero phone.
No separate phone.
That's 2 thumbs up.
Now on top of that is the ability to create your own mode. Now the bike's currently unarmed, so it's the stand's down and it's turned off, so I can't show you the modes. Bit dangerous to put it in to get it hot, but the ability to create your own mode allows you, and I don't know how we can pick this up, we can set the speed, power, torque, neutral regen, which is the feel when you roll off the throttle, and then the braking regen, which is the feel when you just pull the brake on a fraction.
So when you say speed, that's maximum speed?
Maximum speed. So I've got it set to a rather hoonish 200 at the moment, not that I ever get anywhere near that, but the ones that matter for me is the power and torque is all the way up, but I've played with the regen to get it that it's really good city friendly, good acceleration, and when you roll off it doesn't stand on its nose, it just slows down at a nice rate for stopping at traffic lights. And the brake regen also allows me to just have enough slowdown with almost never using the disc brakes themselves. I'm simply activating more regen braking.
Nice disc brakes, I've got to say. I did test them out.
You did give them a go. Well, that's fantastic.
I gave them a good go, and they work well.
Now, one other thing
So the regen on the brakes works front and back?
Works only on the rear because it's basically sending the torque back through the belt
through the motor.
Into the motor, and the motor is effectively running as an alternator at that point.
Yes, so it's
one thing I want to show you,
in,
I want to show you here too, Bruce. We'll just turn it off briefly. Everything heavy on the bike is above your knees, and as a result, you've actually got what we call a fronk, but it's basically a space to store the charger cable or a 6-pack of beer or whatever you feel. Obviously has the two USB ports, which allows you to charge your phone and a spare backup battery or similar.
And a small helmet.
I don't know whether you'd get it, maybe a small open face, but you know, it really emphasises that the simplicity of a complex bike, that it's a motor, a battery and a controller, and that's kind of it. We use the belt drive to make that regen really smooth. And you know, there's service interval on the belt, it's 40,000 K replacement, you know, every couple of years, depending on how much you ride.
That's right. Now, there are optional extras. You can get a gear shift lever, optional extra, and a clutch lever as an optional extra. You don't get them standard.
They're ineffective, I'd have to say, the clutch. But
Yeah.
it is something that it does take some getting used to.
It does.
I'm sure you were pulling the Phantom clutch when you went for your first ride.
To start with, yes,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of other. Look, the left and right turn indicators are good. They work standard, and the horn button is. I'd personally change the horn to something like a Mack truck, but that's only personal preference. Look, the look and feel is great.
Great, I'm happy you're impressed because, you know, these are the evolution of the Zero bike. They haven't been around for a year, they've been around for 15 years. So they reached a level of sophistication, and we saw that with things like reverse and the way that the dash operates, the different modes. There's a lot of sophistication in the Zero, and it's reached a pretty good state of evolution, even though it's an early stage for electric in general.
It's a lot of fun.
All right, well, we've got to get you on the bike, actually.
Yes.
It's 12:30, time to go again.
And so here we are with the Fighter. I'm a lover, not a fighter. We're going to love this, and I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to let it do all the work. I'm just going to hang on.
All right, I'll get you into Eco.
Well, that's it for the DSRX here at Peter Stevens Ringwood. Big thank you to Zero, big thank you to Peter Stevens, and a great thank you to he who supplies the great sunny blue sky day.